Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is the Nashville Black Covenant Coalition, and we're fortunate to have with us this morning to talk about the Nashville Black Covenant Coalition, the coordinator of the Nashville Black Covenant Coalition, Mr. KCaine. And of course, Mr. Caine, let me welcome you to the show this morning. And to tell you how delighted, Mr. Caine, we are to have you here to talk about this issue of the Nashville Black Covenant Coalition, a group of individuals that have gathered together, and you are the coordinator of this group. But before we get into this Nashville Black Covenant Coalition, Mr. Caine, let's talk about KCaine. Okay. Let's have you to give us a little information about your background, your education, and some of the things that were important that eventually got you involved as the coordinator of the Nashville Black Covenant Coalition, and then we'll talk about the coalition itself.
Okay, well, my name is KCaine. I'm from a little small town called Fayette, Alabama. I'm the product of a military family. My father traveled extensively, spent a lot of time in Europe, up and down the East Coast. And then finally, I attended Alabama State University for a couple of years, and then I eventually transferred to Tennessee State University. And I've been here ever since. By profession, I'm a speech-language pathologist, but I'm also a deacon in my church. I attend Progressive Missionary Baptist Church, where the Reverend Henry Blaze III is our pastor. And so my actions in the community actually come out of my faith in God, my inspiration to assist those who need help, basically.
Very good. And you know now, Mr. Caine, when we talk about, excuse me, the Nashville Black Covenant Coalition, exactly what are we talking about? Why don't you give our audience some idea of what this organization is all about and how it came into being and who the members of this coalition, that kind of information.
Okay. Yes. Well, they got started back in 2006, back when Tavis Smiley's book, The Covenant of Black America, came out, and it went to the top of the New York Times bestsellers list. Many cities around the country felt a need to try to rally around those 10 topics that were in the book, outlined in the book, that basically spoke about our ills that we're confronted with all over the nation, you know, from healthcare to education to the criminal justice system. And so a group of us, people like Kwame Lillard, Reverend Blaze, Dr. Al Hadid, Mr. Matthew Walker Jr. from the Civil Rights Movement, and others, got together and we started just kind of, you know, discussing what can we do here in Nashville at this time. And so we had a series of meetings and, you know, long discussions, and the NBCC was formed with the goal of to educate our community, but also to sort of act as a catalyst to help those who need help, in order to make this country, you know, more democratic. So, you know, issues that our community is in dire need of help in.
You know, when you mentioned the book, and I think you indicated 10 items that that the group considered to be important, that African American, well, that people ought to be concerned about, that has brought all of you together. Now, what would you consider to be? Let's talk about some of those issues. Let's look at what might be considered to be the #1 issue during this first segment that you felt that you had to deal with. What's the major issue that individuals ought to be involved in at this time?
Well, there are several major ones, I would say, but I think at the top would have to be our moral compass.
Okay.
Our values as a people in America, as a black people, because I understand that there are actually two Americas. You know, and so we represent Black America, and economics is a major player, of course, in this capitalist system. But then so is voting, you know. And so we do have a conference that we're planning. I guess we're going to discuss that further in the program. But economics right now, we are hurting tremendously.
Much more than that. When I think what you're saying here too is that when we say that Africans have a 9%, I mean the American people have a 9% unemployment, we're not touching the people that your coalition is concerned about, which might go up to 16 or 19%.
Yes.
Okay, and of course what we'll do when we come back after this first commercial break, which will come up in the next 10 or 12 seconds, then we'll pick up on that. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.